Hello there, torchbearers. This reading is for the Virgo placements out there, or for Virgo season. However this finds you, in whatever way this resonates, take what resonates and leave the rest. Use your discernment and your intuition to discern what is meant to be used from this, especially since this has to do with practicality and presence. You are the one that needs to be present here in order to tell what is useful from this information. I chose the Universal Celtic Tarot. I felt like a more earthy tarot deck would be beneficial for Virgo energy. I feel like we'll take our time, obviously, because Virgo energy. I may read some sections from the intention candle here, but you can also find that on my website, spiritguideapothecary.com. I just launched the Virgo Spirit Guide Zodiac Intention Candle, and I only have one more left, the Libra Zodiac Intention Candle. And I am doing an 11% off sale on my website, spiritguideapothecary.com, on all of my intention candles, Reiki infused spirit guide intention candles with soy and coconut wax and essential oil fragrances only. And then my tarot readings are also 11% off right now. So all right, let's get into Virgo season. What is going on? If I didn't say it already, hello, my name is Alex. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to my YouTube. It's been a little while. I've been really feeling very, very called to be back in this space again. So let's do Virgo's energy. I'm just going to do a 3-card spread. This will sort of give me an idea of what areas of focus this season is bringing out for you. It could help us also understand with a 3-card spread, it can be 5 minutes ago, 5 years ago, 5 lifetimes ago, depending on what your personal preferences and beliefs are and how you take this reading and what you're going through. So right now, if you've got your body crossed up, I invite you to uncross your legs and open yourself up to receive. Take a deep breath in. Grab some water if you haven't already. And let's get into Virgo's energy. What do you need to hear this season for Virgo season? What is going on here, Spirit? There's the past energy. You give me this present energy, please, Spirit. Thank you. And then we will take the future energy, Spirit, please. There it is. Okay. And it was on its side there, which will leave this hidden because everything was kind of mysterious, you know. I like it. And I am going to also do clarifiers if I need to. And I like this, the landscape tarot. This is perfect because obviously I feel that y'all are so Virgos. I'm saying y'all, but during Virgo season, we're so connected to the forest. We're so connected to the land. And this deck really zooms out from the tarot's perspective. It looks at the landscape, the entire scene of what is happening in the tarot. So we're actually going to go ahead and pull for each path. Thank you. Interesting. We're seeing it up front. Okay. Present, please. Present, please. Thank you. And then the future, please. Thank you. It's interesting that the clarifiers all came up right instead of hidden. Okie dokie, almost as if it's necessary for you. I don't know why this accent is coming through so much here, but almost like as if it's necessary for you to take a look at the farther away, zoomed out perspective right now, more so than the in-depth and close-up perspective. I really feel like that's interesting with how detail-oriented Virgo energy is. There could be something even in the details. Maybe Spirit has you lost in the details so that you can actually finally see the full perspective, which is kind of counterintuitive. But maybe when you finally find the connection to it, right? When we find that bridge, which I just did a reading about this and posted to my TikTok. I don't know when this will have posted, but this reading is, the bridge there is really resonating from that reading. And it was the horse and fire spirit. If you go and look, I'm holding the 2 candles on my TikTok. Okay, Page of Wands here, going into the 4 of Cups, going into the Ace of Cups, going into the overall subconscious and conscious energy of your mind, and this energy being death in reverse. You've dedicated yourself to a mission that you really believe in, but it is through leaving something behind that was difficult and rededicating yourself to something that was important to you, that prioritized overall health and emotional health, especially here, that has sparked this whole transition. I also want to say with the Page of Wands, you are in a studious mode, a explorative, like we're looking back with the page. It's you know, you've made your way through Ace, the spark of the concept, the passion, the creativity, all the way following it to the 10, which is literally like exhaustion, burnout, almost feeling like you can't get there. Page is reinvigoration, right? Especially with the wands here. It's like hope. You see, they're holding the dandelion spirit guide. And I have dandelion spirit as a wonderful, beautiful spirit guide that you can work with as well. Hint, hint. Durability and wishes. And I feel that here with the Page of Wands in particular, it is really calling for you to re-spark some of the reason why you did this in the first place. It's really asking for you to take what you first started with and the reason why, right? The why. And why sometimes we constantly use in a negative way. So how can you use it as an inspiration is what this particular energy is asking you. Especially with the Four of Cups here, because we don't want you with the Page of Wands and the Four of Cups. I'm a little concerned that there might be some flighty energy here that you're dealing with, whether it's externalized or internal. You may be a little bit avoidant here because Four of Cups tends to be avoidant with the energy. You know, you can see this crane is flying off away from us. We can't quite see it, but we do see its reflection. So it's like there's something that we know about it without being able to really confront it. And that's interesting here too, because that is very often like not seeing the cup that is being handed to us by spirit. And so the opportunity that is being presented. And it's interesting because I almost feel like maybe even you are, because the Three of Cups is all about community and like, you know, camaraderie, especially like having like souls that you really get along with and find harmony with, and into more of a hermit kind of inward reflection of this emotional energy. So whatever this you know, rededication of yourself, you could be rededicating yourself to your studies, taking some space away from certain groups and environments that you were over partying in or over giving to, whether it's partying or just over giving your energy, people pleasing, things like that, and to prioritize over to this oasis here that you need in order to be able to sustain yourself. I really even am, the clouds for some reason, or particularly the shadows, are really drawing me. The three different clouds that are here, on the three cards, like they're really drawing me in the way that the horizons all have this circular, like they're not all this way. It just is the way in which the cards you got, like they have this almost horizon look to them, and they're not all a horizon. So there's something about looking forward into the distance, really planning for the future here, trying to get your seeds to be wishes that will harvest long term. Maybe even the thing that you're a little resistant to is like putting an end to a cycle that you feel like you want to come back to at some point, with the Death in the reverse here. Yeah, with the Three of Wands. You feel like there might be something unfinished here. And so you're sort of exploring your options right now on how to progress here. But let's see here and actually see what's going on, because this was your main reading here. Four of Wands. Interesting to see this reflection of the 4-4 here. With the wands being matched up here, with the Four of Wands being clarified by the Page of Wands. It really solidifies the foundational beliefs that I was talking about, like building foundation, wanting for these seeds to really last you a long time. Four of Wands has to do with like happy home life, like you need 4 pillars to build a good stable home. As you can see, this person here, this elf, is walking towards this hut that is very like inviting. And again, with kind of the concept of like an individual standing at the precipice of like a very like far out reaching landscape. And that's interesting here. Now we have the Nine of Cups in reverse here. Interesting. With the clarifier of the Four of Cups, this could really mean you having to leave something behind. This could be like an actual partnership that you thought you were going to have for a lot longer. This could be a job that you've been committed to for a very long time. This could be a project that you were trying to bring forward and you had to restart in some big way, and you're feeling also maybe a little like ostracized or a little bit like left out in the cold. Like, can I actually have fulfillment? Am I ever going to be happy? Is spirit always going to have me walk away when the happiness presents itself to me? And I think this could be, again, the avoidance, maybe fearful avoidance, the fears, the anxieties, especially in particular in this season with Virgo. I'm being reminded of how practical you're needing to be. And so you may be feeling a lack of practicality and the necessity of like your foundation. So you're feeling very on edge and in turn unprovided for, unstable, unpractical, needing to rely on really extreme, odd circumstances to get by. And I'm also feeling this is the judgments that are coming up. And with Virgo energy, like I wrote here on the right hand side, it says Virgo and where is that? Showing that worth is not earned through flawless action, but through steady growth, patience, and compassion for yourself. Walking with Virgo will have you dropping comparison, judgment, and shame, as you are reminded that structures are not cages, but foundations. And when you live with presence, even imperfections become aligned. Even imperfection becomes aligned with your highest good. And this is something here, even imperfection becomes aligned with your highest good. Maybe you're being hypercritical of yourself here and over your emotional maturity, stability, offerings. I want to point out that you still have the Nine of Cups here. Like, yes, it's in reverse, so you might be a little bit like, you know, especially when it comes to nines, I feel it's the most we can carry on our own. And so we may be feeling the resistance to opening up, like I first initially felt in your entire reading. And I think this is a very important time for you to have hope brought in. So you need to turn to the individuals that you are feeling called to open up to so that it can help facilitate this transition. And this is actually, I'm taking this download to heart for myself right now, okay? Because this is Virgo season for all of us. And I'm having a realization on something on my end. And it's really a fun and odd experience to be in channel mode and hear the messages and know where those things are going, but also feel the difference between my own voice and my intuition. And I feel like I want to articulate that to you because I don't always feel that difference. Oftentimes that's a practice, right? And this is something, since I did a couple of readings before this, I was very much in flow with my guides. And as you get more and more in practice with this, you'll be able to discern what are your emotions, what are the other person's emotions, what are the situation's emotions, what are your fears and anxieties and these things that are ready to close out that you are needing to just hold space for the emotions. I can't tell you how many times I've had emotions come up in this healing work that I cannot find where they come to or where they are rooted. And I realize that they are, because they are no longer having an emotional tether, they are simply processing. And that is something that often will be like sort of the emotional release that creates room for this wish to come to fruition. And we have here with the Emperor in reverse. Yeah, wow, okay. I definitely could see that there could be a situation of you questioning whether or not a person is right for you, whether or not you, you know, maybe you just left a certain person behind. And I think that this is something, again, all of the tarot will happen on an internal energy before it is externalized. So with the Emperor in reverse, it feels like you have been met with these emotional challenges, and so it has triggered this like structure instability within your masculine energy, like feeling like everything's at risk. But the thing is, like when you focus back down to like the core and like the proof in what you of your love, like giving love to yourself, giving support to yourself, taking care of your bare necessities, right? The bare necessities. Sometimes these are certain situations after a major breakup, after a major you know, shift or change, even a career. Like often it doesn't have to be major. I don't really, you know, the smallest things can impact us in ways that we can't always predict, and we have to have space and room for that, to like let that be the case. If we just ignore it, then it's just ego that's trying to hide us away. And here's the Justice, right? Here's the balancing of all of this. This is the ending of this kind of cycle where you get to a place of vulnerability and honesty, and you feel like it doesn't go through in the way that you see or feel that it is going to. Like you feel that you've been gaslit in your intuition a lot. I feel this so much, especially if it comes to partnerships, you know, friendships and partnerships in terms of a deeper companion. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it does feel that this is a romantic thing with the Nine of Cups and the Emperor here. And the Four of Cups being the clarifier to the Nine of Cups, I feel that you are leaving behind being, you know, not chosen. Your spirit guides are guiding this energy out of your system. And the Ace of Cups being the clarifier to the Emperor in reverse, love is true. Love is not going to be dishonest. Even when the Emperor shows up in an imbalanced way, like not in balance, they are still showing up. And that is so justice and balance and all you could ever hope and ask for. And that in turn will allow for the death of this entire cycle to come to fruition. This is a beautiful message here, especially in terms of like harmony in like not placing so much pressure on the ways in which others show up, but in turn allowing for them to show up authentically lets yourself be able to do the same. And the thing is, like, you may have wanted you wanted to be supported in certain ways, and vice versa. But like, you're realizing that when you give that to yourself, like, you don't need that other individual to support you that way. Instead, you can support yourself that way, and then let them support you the best way that they can. And then that becomes true love that allows for you to receive the ways in which they can care for you. And this doesn't mean that they're not doing a good job of caring for you. Quite the opposite. They're very much able to meet you and compromise and bring about balance to the areas that they couldn't have met if it had been through force or through a sort of an energy of just like, you know, not heart-centered, not open. And let's see here, the clarifier here for the Four of Wands and the Page of Wands, which I also want to say, like, the Four of Wands clarified by the Page of Wands, like, be this a situation that you are like healing and not letting go of, that I would like for you to reinvigorate new ideas into this. Like, this could be like spicing things up in terms of connection, not just romantic, but like, what do y'all do together? What hobbies can y'all bond over? What is this career focused energy that you maybe are kind of trying to place into your life? I also feel like there could be a masculine wound in yourself that is being healed with the Justice and the Emperor and the Nine of Cups. Any like abandonment wounds, or feeling like you can't come to the masculine, walking on eggshells, feeling like you can't come to them emotionally vulnerable because you're worried that especially with the shadow here, just all you're worried on how they would respond. And so none of that, no more of that. You can actually be completely like, it's like, as silly as it is, it's like the ability to finally feel at peace with your haven. And so it feels here with the diamond ray body, diamond light body, high frequency activations, and planetary grid work. This is a big part of the Page of Wands as well. Like, you might even be an activator of the grid. You may go around traveling a lot, experiencing activations and harmonizing with the planetary grid wherever you are. Also tapping into different ley lines and frequencies, activating your own diamond body. It's coming up, like, you know, a protective frequency. I'm going to mention it. Emma Frost, in case you like Marvel, could be a character. I don't know if you play Marvel Rivals, but like, her choke slam is coming through, like where she slams you to the ground. And so, like, not taking any bullshit when it comes to protecting your home. Badger Spirit Guide is coming up here, so check out Badger as well as Dandelion here. I also want to say to check out Dragonfly Spirit Guide, the Sun, All Hallows Eve for Death and Rebirth. Justice could be great for Elephant. Okay, and then we have here Shadow Mirror, Deep Healing, Obsidian, and Hellebore, Deep Healing, Understanding, and Seer. Right, I feel like you are you're no longer ignoring it. Like I had said, like the Four of Cups like can be kind of like ignoring spirit. Like you're not doing that to your shadow work any longer. You're not ignoring the emotions. You're doing the deep healing work. You're understanding things on a very deep level, and you're working on seeing things from a higher perspective. And this is very impactful while you also work on the finite details of this season. And so for Virgo season, I feel like you're leaving behind any sort of like emotional wound that you carry home with you, and you're able to bring home with you to the individuals that are ready to receive healing. And this is also the careers and the jobs that you're trying to expand into. I'm even hearing like, you know, the small exchanges, like you're just gonna feel like things are, people might be opening up to you and helping you rewrite some of these patterns, because it can happen from even just like a random stranger. Something that you predict a situation going a certain way, but instead the script gets rewritten and you like, wow. For example, for me, this would be when I was booking a wedding client. The client responded with, I was going back and forth on if I was charging, how much to charge, and I was like actually going to charge less than what I sent them, and I decided, no, I'm going to charge my worth and charge the higher price. And then the client responded by saying, I think this is too low. And it was so funny to me because it was a confirmation that, wow, look, I mean, they're wanting to pay more than what I was saying was too high of a price, and I was going to give them an even cheaper price. But it really was like giving way too much of a deal for how much work I have to do and send out. But I just really, people that I've worked with for a long time too, and I really don't like taking advantage ever. I love an honest work, and this is all things where this is that proof of the rewriting of the story, because it's not just in me that I have to rely on that. I can trust that the individuals that I'm manifesting are also going to be like, are going to value my work, are going to value my quality, are going to see the quality in me, and even remind me sometimes, right? And it's interesting because that led me to say, well, if you have room in the budget, let me do the bigger candles then. And I did the 4 ounces instead, and that led for me to making a little more, them getting something more quality. And I just think that sometimes it's like, if you don't speak up, if you don't say, you never know what rewriting you'll do for somebody's life. And it's in the smallest things, you know, and the biggest things too, of like just like really, you know, paying people that you care about what their value is. That's so powerful. So Queen Codes, her story, healing, distortion. This is something that is coming up here, like I said, with the clarification of the Emperor. Like you're no longer, and even the Crown and the Justice. Look at the scales there, confirming the Justice there. The apple, anything with apple fragrance in it could be really powerful for you right now. I just made a new pear apple like medley, all of which are available on my website. And then the Bee Spirit Guide, Emerald and Milk Thistle. Heal the healer, right? You're being healed by this. This is exactly what, I mean, the cards say it all. So I don't really have to even do much channeling when the cards speak so clearly. But the channel is also very aligned because so much of what you're doing is aligned. And I want to point out that you may not feel that way right now with this energy, but that's what's actually kind of beautiful, and the reason why you don't feel that way. And I think that is because you're not used to things sort of going as smoothly as they're currently going. So even if things look a little chaotic, there is still sort of this sense of an undercurrent of smooth, the healing of the healer occurring. And so you feel brighter to other individuals. You feel you're glowing a bit more. You see this golden hue. They're noticing that you're letting your guard down a bit more. You're not needing to defend and rush in. You're trusting your constituents. You're being a little more willing to let your burdens down and do the shadow work and let people see you suffer. And that's something that before you would have done everything in your power to hide, to not ever be seen as struggling. But the fact that you're allowing yourself to be seen as struggling is a testament of the work you've done to release these narratives and bring balance to your garden, to your healing frequency that you bring to the collective, that Gaia brings to you. And then in turn, it makes it more powerful, more pure, more cleansed, more loving. Soul's Truth, Atlantis, and Emerald tablets. There is some ancient codes and frequencies that are being activated here through your work. That is all that I have for you. If you'd like to take this into a personal one-on-one, then you can check out the link in my bio to book me. I really enjoyed this reading. Please leave me a comment, like, subscribe. Let me know how this resonated for you. This was such a cool reading. I want to know what collective found this. I really also want to know, like, is it a man? Is it a career? What is this in circumstance for? What is this circumstance in energy work for? Because it feels like there's something that is being healed for you by you being less in the work mode of healing something for an individual or a certain situation. All right, that's all I have. Bye.